One of the dominant royal stories this week has, of course, been the return of The Crown on Netflix, and not everyone's thrilled about it, are they?
No, they're really not. There's a lot of... Look, there's anticipation. It hasn't actually even been broadcast yet, this series. Yes, it's very controversial, and it's got very close to the current day, so it's very sensitive, the whole subject, really. And
naturally, Rebecca, some people are also saying, oh, for goodness sake, it's clearly a fictionalised telling of the story. What a load of fuss about nothing. Where do you stand on it?
Well, I have to say, I was in that camp formerly. I thought it was historical, you know, it was pretty well done. I felt it was a bit of a storm in a teacup. Some of the kind of, you know, isn't it awful? And I think the royal family previously has probably benefited out of it more than they've lost. But I was... As I said earlier on, I got to see a full transcript of the next 10 episodes, and I'm not going to lie, I was actually really shocked, and I think it's actually verging on the defamatory now.
Really?
I was really surprised. You've got a couple of things to mention. William, for example, of course, last year over the Bashir scandal said very clearly that he found that whole episode so traumatic, and that his mother was so manipulated at a very vulnerable stage in her life that he didn't want to see it broadcast again or used for dramatic purposes. And yet Netflix not only just put it over one episode, but over 2 episodes. This whole storyline, and there's one segment where you see Diana skidding in her car, and she thinks her brakes have failed, but she then said, "Oh, it might just need, you know, someone's tampered with it, but it might just be that, you know."
So that's like leaning into that age-old conspiracy theory.
Exactly,
yeah.
It's very, very close to the bone, and obviously the infamous Camilla Gate tapes of the 1990s. Again, I understand, you know, they want to touch on it because it was something very significant that happened in the royal family's life at that period. But they don't just touch on it, they replicate everything in those tapes, word for word, in a really kind of lascivious way. And you've got the actors of Charles and Camilla reading out that dialogue over scenes of the royal family picking up the papers in the morning and looking shocked. And you see actors like Dominic Wade, brilliant actors who've in publicity junkets have said, you know, well, actually, we're not trying to blame the individuals themselves. They were clearly not at fault here. We blame the papers for publishing it at the time. And he's right, that was indefensible in my opinion. But that doesn't give you carte blanche to go and repeat it all again X amount of years down the line. What are you benefiting out of it? Entertainment.
I mean, the thing is, we've had sort of some royal dramas in the past where they've touched on these events, but they've always been kind of things no one's taken very seriously. But The Crown, because it's such a big budget, Netflix, so much hype, it really is a whole different level, and that's...
It does, the production values of it, and certainly when I look at the first and second series, you do perceive it as fact, don't you? Because it's so well done, it almost reads like a documentary, almost.
Well, you've got brilliant actors, some of the best acting talent out there, and so much spent on each episode that it's fantastic to watch, that sort of takes you with it.
Yeah.
But then you know that you're dealing with lives of people very recently, and people that will really be just damaged by this.
I tell you, I doubt that Princes William or Harry will watch it, but even as a bystander to it all, Elizabeth Debicki as Diana is terrifyingly on point. It's like watching a ghost.
Yeah, and that must be very strange for them. Yeah. Probably pretty traumatic. I mean, they have scenes in it that imagining conversations between William and his mother about the Bashir interview, about her ringing him up and telling her about new boyfriend she's got. It's stuff that I think... I'm not sure there might not be a backlash about this, because there's some stuff that's pretty distasteful, I have to say.
Backlash or not, it seems that there will be another series, Richard.
Yes, I mean, that's already been confirmed. This is season number 5, and originally the idea was to end it with this series, but then, because it's so successful, they decided to do another one. And that's going up to the early 2000s.
Well, the last I'd heard was that they would take it up to the death of the Queen.
No, well, I think it was up to the Diamond Jubilee celebrations, perhaps. Okay. I'm not sure. Yeah. But who knows if that's just as popular. maybe we'll see one with with Meghan entering the scene, and it could be a chance for her to return to acting, playing herself.